Pretend for 1 second you are buying a home and a home inspector flags a crack in the foundation. Now you're panicking. Is this a deal killer? Is this a $250,000 problem? Do you walk away? Here's what most people don't understand. Your inspector is going to flag cracks. Every home inspector, because they're protecting themselves. But not every crack is the same. The difference between a normal crack that's been there for 15 years and a structural problem that's going to cost you $250,000, well, that's what we're talking about today. Once you understand this, and this is going to be a point of debate, but I'm just going to say it. Older homes are actually a lower risk than new ones. So your home inspector shows up, you've got a house under contract and you're under your due diligence, your inspection time, and they're there for 2 or 3 hours and they find a crack in the foundation and it goes in the report. And suddenly you're reading words like recommend structural engineer evaluation and your stomach drops. But here's what's actually happening. Inspectors have to flag everything, not because it's all dangerous, but because they're liability conscious. They see a crack, they note it. They don't want to be the inspector who missed something and then you're threatening a lawsuit. You end up with reports that sound terrifying about cracks that have been there for 20 years and they're not going anywhere. This is the moment where most buyers either panic and walk or they ignore it entirely. And listen, neither one of those things is the right call. What you actually need to understand is the difference between what's normal and what's a problem. And let me be clear. Hairline cracks, the ones you can barely see, the ones that are maybe the thickness of a pencil lead or thinner, these are in just about every foundation in Atlanta. I promise you, every time I go under contract with some buyers, these things show up on every single home inspection, especially in older homes. I have one in my own house. So why do cracks happen? Because they're concrete and concrete cures and it settles. It's normal. It's not a structural failure. It's just what concrete does over time. An older home, let's say it was built in the 1940s or 50s, has been through decades and decades of clay soil expanding and contracting, and most of the settling it's going to do has likely already been done. The foundation is stabilized. Those hairline cracks are just cosmetic noise at this point. That's why older homes are, in my opinion, a lower risk than what people think. New construction, that's your wild card. Here's what most buyers don't think about. A brand new house hasn't settled yet. The foundation is going to move. They all move. The framing is going to settle. You do not know how it's going to behave over the next 5, 10, 15 years. I've seen new builds where cracks start showing up in year 2 or year 3 because the house is still settling and the builder underestimated how much it would move. Now you're dealing with a warranty claim, now you're fighting with the builder, and now you're stressed and you're looking at a potential very expensive issue. With an older home, the unpredictability is gone. The settling has likely happened. The house found its equilibrium and the risk profile is just different. So when you're comparing an older in-town home to new construction, understand this. That older home has already done its moving. You're buying stability. But what you need to know is which cracks matter and which ones don't. Okay, so here's where I draw the line, no pun intended. Hairline cracks are normal, found in every house. Don't lose sleep over those and don't let an inspector panic you. But the stair-stepping cracks, those diagonal cracks that look like actual stairs running up a wall or across concrete blocks, that's a different story. Those tell you that the foundation is settling unevenly, and that's absolutely worth a second opinion. Horizontal cracks wider than a 1/4 inch. So think about it a little thicker than a quarter or a nickel. Same thing. That's pressure from outside, and you absolutely want an expert to look at that. Bowing walls, separation between the foundation and the framing, and gaps where there shouldn't be any. Those are the ones that make you pause, and where I would recommend bringing in a structural engineer for a professional opinion. Here's my general rule. If it's a hairline crack, your inspector flagged it, and the house has been standing for 40 years without falling apart, you're probably fine. But if it's a wider crack, if it's in a pattern, if something looks like it's moved, that's when you get a structural engineer to take a real look. When you see something that looks different, that looks serious. So to me, that's when it is absolutely worth the $500 or $1,000 to get a structural engineer for clarity. Here's what actually protects you. During your inspection, look at the crawl space with your inspector. Ask specifically about the cracks. Ask if they think they're new, or if they're old, or if they think maybe they're progressing, or if it looks stable. Ask the listing agent about the history. Has anyone ever had foundation work done? If the previous owner repaired the foundation 10 years ago and it's been fine since, that's actually, for me, reassuring. And a lot of those actually come with lifetime warranties if they were done with a reputable company. Here's something else that a lot of people would overlook. Check the drainage around the house. Bad drainage is actively attacking the foundation. And here's the thing. If you see a crack that looks different, if it's wider, if it's in a load-bearing area, if something in your gut says, oh, this doesn't look right, this looks kind of bad, get a structural engineer. They'll tell you in an hour whether you're looking at something cosmetic or if this is an actual problem. Most of the time, they will tell you that it's fine, that you should just continue to monitor it. Sometimes they will tell you to negotiate a repair or a credit, and rarely they will tell you to walk, but at least you'll know. At least you'll have an idea of the problem you're looking at, and so then you can make a better decision whether you want to take on that risk or if you want to walk away from the house altogether. The Atlanta market is really full of amazing older homes. Virginia Highland, Inman Park, Candler Park, Druid Hills. These neighborhoods have character, and most of the time they have stability. The houses have already done their settling. You're not buying a question mark. You're buying a known quantity. Don't let hairline cracks scare you out of a house you love. But don't ignore a serious crack because you're in love with the house either. The difference is knowing what you're looking at. If you are buying in Atlanta, maybe you're thinking about it, and you want someone who understands these neighborhoods and understands these houses and who knows what actually matters in due diligence and who will walk you through the real questions to ask, text or call me. The number is on the screen. That is my cell phone number. And hey, if you like this video, check out this next one. I go over what's actually worth walking away from when you are purchasing a home. I will see you over there.